the politics stuff or local issues with universities. Now, I alluded to a few times in the previous streams about the difficulties that a variety of Australian universities are facing, and one in particular being the ANU, Australian National University. Now, back in the day, it started out as a research university and sort of really only took on students to allow it to fund its position during research. Obviously, that's shifted a little bit over time. Its law department has generated a number of very significant politicians and prime ministers over the years. I think at least two PMs have gone through the ANU law department as students, and ANU tried to position itself as like the premier Australian university, mainly research university. In recent years, it suffered economically. COVID didn't help. Loss of overseas students didn't help. Declining enrollment numbers didn't help. There was a period of expansion and infrastructure development that, in hindsight, was probably ill-advised. And now attempts to claw back the damage are leaving the staff very, very upset. And so there's been almost a revolt within the university between the worker bees and academic staff and the council that heads them up, the chancellor and vice chancellor. So the article that popped out this morning was that the ANU vice chancellor, Genevieve Bell, is expected to resign as a result of all of this. Whether or not it's going to make any difference, I don't know. The council, headed up by former Foreign Minister Julie Bishop, had appointed her in 2023. So there'd been a fair bit of ire targeted at Julie Bishop as well for the role that she'd been undertaking. And obviously there's a link there to some of the issues surrounding her tenure in managing the university. And so it's been causing all sorts of issues. I mean, in order to try and fix the sinking financial ship, they try to cut loose a whole bunch of staff, and that went down like a lead balloon. And then as people got more and more upset with what was going on, it became more apparent that there were things at management level that probably weren't the best, conflicts of interest, all that sort of stuff. And so at least it's been suffering as a result. And as it says there, March, they had a vote of no confidence against the board, basically, and in regards to leadership and job cuts. And I mean, when most of the college deans say it's either you or us, well, it's probably the only thing that will save the system. Now, it's obviously going to be more to come over time with that. I mean, people are saying, well, if they get rid of Bell and get rid of Bishop, all things are going to be great. Systemic problems were a bit before that. It just so happened there were some very high-profile issues under their guidance, and yeah, as the commentator there says, it's indicative of what happens when you run out of money and try to put a managerial class in to run things. Yeah, to some degree. I don't know that academics are necessarily best placed to make business decisions. I mean, they certainly can make the best academic decisions about research targets and things like that, but there needs to be a balance. It's a bit like in software development, game development. um, having a very enthusiastic game developer develop games is one thing, but having them actually run the business side of things is another. And you'll see people complain online about how the business side of things suppresses the creative side of things. Well, you need incoming funds to fund the creative side. And so some people can do both, a lot of people can't. And there needs to be a managerial oversight. And the issue, I don't know so much, I wouldn't say so much, is that there's a managerial class. Well, yes, I would in some respects, but that they've handled the ANU rather poorly in this case. And things like COVID and reducing um, student enrolments certainly exposed the weaknesses in the system. Now, it might have been in the past they were able to paper over things and hide some of the, not necessarily the losses, but absorb losses or the weaknesses in plans and methodologies and things like that. But when you're down to the bare limits, any deviation from the ideal solution is going to cost you. But at the same time, there is no way to identify the ideal solution. You're going to find that there's no one right answer, but there's a lot of wrong answers. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out. Personally, I don't think it's going to be enough to right the ship. Um, Even if Julie Bishop departs as well, I think it'll be circling the drain for a while. It'll probably require all new blood. And I think that was part of the reason why Julie Bishop was brought on, is that she was new blood. She was sort of outside the system and was sort of seen as an external influence who'd be able to help attract funding and right the ship and everything else. And that didn't quite work out the way it was intended for a variety of reasons. So here's hoping at least one of Australia's major universities can sort itself out, but there's whispers that it's not the only university having issues like this. And yeah, it's I mean, I just said that whoop, as this commenter says, it's probably the start of a path that we will see many other universities around Australia follow at some point. Um, and yeah, the loss of full fee paying students is an issue. We'll see. We'll see. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know who they're going to put in place. I mean, I'm sure they're going to find somebody who appears good on paper. Uh, Hopefully, they'll be good on the ground as well. And at some point, some of these cuts are probably going to happen. Yeah, it's if the system's resisting. I mean, systems resist change by their very nature. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next after that.